All right, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. Tom Brady is a quitter. Jeff here. Brad, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Manchester United just pulled off a miraculous win in the Champions League. Basketball starting in about 3 weeks. Just about anything to keep my mind off the Pittsburgh Steelers is good enough for me right now.
Yeah, New England isn't exactly a Super Bowl favorite at this point in the season, but the Patriots have a lot of stuff going on, lots to talk about. For me, I took it. Actually, I was wearing this sweatshirt the other day, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 53. And I took a picture and sent it to my Snapchat friends, and I'm like, I miss the feeling of having like Super Bowl gear come in and stuff like that, and feeling that warm fuzzy feeling of being the best team in the league. And hopefully, I feel it again soon because right now it feels light years away. But this Sunday it feels like it's going to be the closest thing to that. And I know that's kind of hard to explain because it's truly not a Super Bowl, but it feels huge. Like this game feels monumental. And if we lose, it's not going to feel like a Super Bowl loss. But if we win, it's going to have that feeling of like, oh, let's go. Let's go. We're back to being like what we can potentially be. I don't know. Um,
I get it. Cool.
yeah, yeah. I actually have a perfect question to start this podcast off, unless you want to go first.
Nope, haven't had it.
All right. I'm asking you this question because I feel like you can separate bias and honesty pretty well, as do I think I can sometimes. So I'm going to ask you this question straight up, and I expect an honest answer.
Okay.
Who's a better football team today, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the New England Patriots?
Questions on my paper, by the way.
No, it is not.
Questions on my paper. Um, gosh.
Dude, I don't know. This is a very tough question. I thought about this for a week
The
when I was
scary
like,
thing is I think that they struggle with the same things. Like I often wonder if you combine the Steelers and Patriots, would they even be any better? Like their defense would have more superstars, but like they would still have the same problems. Uh like I said on the podcast, I had the Bengals by 7 to 10 points. They ended up winning by 14. The offense is just abysmal. Like I said, if it wasn't for the Jets, the Steelers would have the worst offense in the league. Fortunately, the Jets exist. Um, and the Steelers aren't healthy on defense, so it's even harder to watch. There's not really too many teams I see, especially on our schedule, that I'm like, that's a win. I mean, we're going to be fighting tooth and nail every week to get a win. The Steelers are, and I feel the Patriots may be doing the same thing. Maybe you guys feel you have a better coaching advantage. I like our coach as well too, but again, both our guys are more defensive guys. Um, Big Ben's washed. Mac Jones is still a new guy. I think rookie quarterbacks are what 1-11 or something like that right now in the NFL. So
the only win is a rookie back over a rookie quarterback. It was Mac
yeah,
Jones, Zach Wilson.
I truly don't know, but I guess if they played today, Steelers by 30. I mean, it's how. No, I really don't know. It would be a good game.
Yeah,
It would
no,
be a good game, but it's we're not having this conversation as we did maybe 10 years ago when they're fighting for the 1 and 2 seed. Maybe we're trying to maybe we're on the edge of double digit, single digit draft position. That's how it feels right now, anyway.
yeah. The reason I ask is I've just been thinking a lot about um, what it's going to take to get over this hump. And obviously the Steelers have 6 Super Bowls, and the New England has 6 Super Bowls, and they're kind of leading the pack there. But they both don't seem like they have the right answer to get there. You know what I mean? I think the answer is probably for Pittsburgh upgrading the quarterback position, even
Enough.
though I don't think it's as bad as everyone's making it seem.
It is. Keep
You think
going.
it is? You think it is
Yeah,
that bad?
I've watched every snap. It's that bad.
Okay. Well, in that
Actually, I got a stat for you. Let me try and remember it verbatim here. Ben Roethlisberger, since the beginning of 2020, on throws further than 20 yards, has a 27.8% completion rating, which is 34th out of 39 qualifying quarterbacks.
And there's 32 that start on Sunday. Yeah.
And he's 34th of 39. So, I mean, it's just not good. And Big Ben's never been a pre-snap quarterback. When you look at a lot of his deep balls, the reason the percentage is down is because he's like, I'm willing to do play action. But it's kind of like, in Madden, when you pick a play and you're like, I know I'm going to snap it, and in 2 seconds I'm tapping X. Like, you just have it predetermined. That's how all of his passes seem. And he's so scared behind that shit, like bad offensive line, that it's just disgusting to watch. I mean, we played the Bengals, and I told you guys publicly I felt like we had no chance, and it didn't look like we did either. It's not just the scoreline or losing; it's throughout the game you see how bad the offense is, and it's just disheartening, really.
Yeah, for us, it's kind of like very similar situation, I guess. Though I feel there's promise in the quarterback position, it's not what it needs to be right now. It's definitely not where it needs to be in order to win 12 games, as I predicted. The defense is good, but lacks depth. It lacks depth. There's a lot of good in the starting unit, but obviously Gilmore being out, and I mean, truthfully, they don't really have a pass rush that's single-handedly done. It's manufactured through blitzes and things like that. So it's just really hard to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And unfortunately, they haven't had the dominating running game that I thought they would have through this point of the season. And the offensive line, unfortunately, has been all right. It looks worse than what it really is because Mac is holding the ball for a really long time. So, yeah, I mean, that was my first question. Do you? I'll let you take this next one away.
What game are you most excited for this weekend?
Let me see. Yeah, I mean,
I just want to know how you're feeling. I just want to know how you're feeling going through the game. Like, I've seen some of your posts. Obviously, your Patriots first, but if you guys are down by 14 in the second quarter, are you just like kind of just for this game cheating on the Patriots too and just cheering for Tom Brady, or is it all Patriots all the way? Or
I've said this a few different times. I'm not sure if I've said it on air or not, but this game feels like a massive win-win for me because if New England loses, first off, I expect them to lose. Before the season started, Cam Newton, Stephon Gilmore, healthy roster, I thought we could compete with this team. I said we would upset them, actually. Okay. I also called that they would lose to the Rams and then lose to us, pre-thinking about us, So I'm like halfway there so far. I just don't think we're going to fulfill our destiny of beating them. I don't think that's even. Man, we look really rough. So back to what I was saying. I think this is a win-win for me because if Tom Brady beats the Patriots, that's win number 32 against all 32 teams. Okay, it solidifies his argument as, listen, Bill, you're good, you're real good, but I'm that good. I am that guy. I am the greatest of all time. And nobody's arguing that. And if you are, I'm sorry, don't listen to this podcast. But there's so much. Obviously, the passing yard record that's projected to go down in the first quarter, if not the second quarter at the very latest. That's there. There's a whole lot here. I'm interested to see what this game's even gonna bring, because I think it could be a super fun game, but I also think it could get ugly really quickly and present storylines for the following day. Like Tom runs it up, Tom maybe throws 8 touchdowns. I don't think he's thrown 8 touchdowns against us, but you just never know. You truly never know. Or Tom struggles and win. Maybe he throws 3 picks. Maybe Belichick does get the best of him. I think that's possible. Yeah, I think it's possible. Just highly unlikely. I'm really looking forward to this game because it feels like the only game that I'm gonna have this year that feels like a playoff atmosphere. To answer your question, because I don't think any longer that the Patriots are as good of a team as I thought they were. Do I think they're 7-9 again or 7-10 this year? Absolutely not. They'll be better than that, but not much better.
All right.
I guess before we go on to the next question, though, where are you at? Are you excited to watch the game? Or is it another game for you?
I'm excited because I'm definitely on Team Tom over Team Belichick. I've always hated the argument that Belichick's the greatest coach ever. I don't really. It's too hard to judge coaches. I think players play. I think players are 80%, coaches are 20%, and I'm really hoping Tom goes in there and just destroys Bill Belichick. I really do. I think he's done a poor job drafting for the most part. You talk about all that stuff. It really seemed like the more and more it went on, the more it was Tom Brady really carrying the organization. So I'd really like to see that cemented. And plus, I know it's a lot of allegations and secondhand sources, but this book coming out and all out of the sources are like just what we thought watching him on, media day and all this stuff. Like Bill Belichick's just like a dick. Like it's just he's not a guy I like to root for. And I get he's your coach and you guys can feel how you feel, but like, trust in Bill, believe in Bill, that's fine. But like I don't think there'll ever be a time like Tom Brady post New England. He's such a fun guy, and I like seeing what he does. His commercials I think are funny, like with the Subway stuff going on and all this and that. And it's like there's never been a moment where I'm like I like Bill Belichick like ever. Like it always seems like an act with the way he acts, and I just don't like it.
Yeah, I guess
I'm hoping Tampa kills him.
Yeah, I'll say a few more things too, because obviously this is an important topic this week.
Yeah,
Let's not. And for me, I mean, I'm having a really hard time. I didn't have as hard of a time last year. I'm having a really hard time accepting the fact that Tom Brady's he's gone. Bill Belichick literally let him go. And it's like, okay, he goes and plays one more year and tears it up. He wins the Super Bowl, whatever. Okay, maybe he plays 2 more years, and maybe the second year he struggles. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And now he's already, just in his current podcast called Let's Go with Jim Gray, he records once a week. He just said he's committed to playing next year. And if that comes out of his mouth, he's not joking. He's not like the kind that's going to win the Super Bowl and then hang him. No, he's committed to playing next year too. Because you know what? He has said for years he wants to play till he's 45. And the one thing I respect about you, and that I always said, and I think I've said this on this podcast multiple times, you haven't called for Ben's head because you're going down with the ship, right? You're going down with the ship. That's all I wanted. I wanted to be the captain that went down with the ship. If Brady's going to be freaking terrible and throw 10 touchdowns and 21 picks, I will accept it. I'll be here for it, and I won't change my view on the team. I'll still watch, and I'll go down. I'll go down swinging, just like I know Tom will. I don't get that opportunity. We were just like, sorry, Tom, it's not good enough to reach the playoffs and go 11-5. We're going to cut you.
So do you think throughout, maybe this is a lot for you to talk for everybody, but do you think across Patriots fans maybe you talk to, or your belief is that fans are bitter at Bill Belichick and that may explode in the stadium this weekend? That like Tom's out here killing you guys, and it's like there was no reason to let him go other than your selfish ego, that the 6 Super Bowls were because of you and you don't need any one guy and you wanted to have all this and that and you had all the power. And like, do you think it grows bitter and it really like makes for a sour ending for Bill Belichick too? And then like, what happens then? Or is this more or less just...
The only way that happens is if Bill retires and just never has the success again, or ends up going to another team. Let's say he just ends up, I'm going to go become the head coach. Yeah, good one. If he just ends up becoming the head coach, maybe for the Giants or something, I think that things would have to really be bad. There are some Patriot fans. They exist. I follow tons on Twitter. Some follow me. There are some Patriot fans that are like, I'm Patriots. I don't have any involvement in the team. Yeah, I love Tom Brady. I loved Gronk, but at the same time, that's all I'm rooting for. And it's like,
that's so fake.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a Patriot fan too, but
yeah, but that's your guy.
That's my freaking dude. I would take a bullet for Tom, and I don't mean I mean that in the most serious way. Like, he's my favorite player ever. He's the sole reason that I'm actually a fan of the team, and yet I have to go witness him Not just doing well, owning. He's the best player in the league today. Today, he's the best player in the league. And it's hard for me to comprehend why Bill wasn't okay with having him on the team.
Yeah, and it's even tougher when you know you may never get answers. He may
You
never.
won't ever get answers.
Yeah,
And
so
Tom is too.
respectful.
Thank you. Perfect word. He's too respectful to put Bill down. He won't ever do it. Even when he retires, he won't do it. He would have done it already. He won't do it. He won't put Bill down. He
What
might
if he
say
comes
that
out and wins? What if he comes out and wins this week in the press conference? That's what you get, you piece of shit. For kicking me out. Starts crying at the mic. I didn't want to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that, and this is still a thing, that think that Tom kind of got lucky as far as the situation. And don't get me wrong, Tampa is a good team. I'm not trying to say that Tom is carrying Tampa by any means. Do I think they're a Super Bowl roster without him? No.
They
They're
weren't.
good, but they need Tom. They weren't, correct. They were not a Super Bowl roster. They added Tom Brady. Tom recruited his fellows, Gronk, Antonio Brown, all that other stuff. But yeah, sorry for your Patriot haters or Tom Brady haters for us opening up with that, but there's just a lot to talk about. And personally,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sad this week. Yeah, I've been accused of being a Bucs fan now for a year and a half, and I've gotten sick of it because yeah, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm not a Bucs fan. Do I love Gronk too? Yeah, absolutely, I love Gronk too. But I'm a Patriot fan, so this week I've been trying to make it playful and come at Brady on Facebook and be silly. But anybody that thinks I hate Tom Brady or that there's people accusing me on the Facebook page of whatever the word they called me, but I'm like, I'm being playful right now. Like, come on. But
I mean, as a Manchester United fan, we lost the GOAT. 13 years later, he's still the best. He came back. We got Tom back, and he just scored a game winner today in the
yeah,
Champions League. So that's kind of fun.
yeah.
But go ahead with another question. We'll finish on
Unfortunately,
this.
Tom's not gonna come back. Uh, Here we go. Thursday night football this week. Do you know what the game is?
Bengals Jags.
It is
Burrow
Bengals.
versus Lawrence.
Yes. My question is based off that game. Today,
Yeah,
who would you take number one?
Joe Burrow.
Okay, I 100% agree. I thought we'd argue here.
Joe Burrow. And also, I want to put it on record because I did say I thought he would be better, and jury's still out, but I like my backing. I said the Bengals should trade their pick back to 5 and just take Herbert. Just take Herbert. Now, obviously, Burrow's going to Burrow, but man, I feel I puffed my chest out with how much I was trying to push Herbert as the best quarterback of that draft class. People kind of thought I was crazy, but I love what Herbert's doing. But I'm taking Burrow over Lawrence. Lawrence, be honest, it's kind of petty stuff too. I don't like the long hair. I don't like his answer to the question. Like, I don't need football. I don't like how he seems more laid back and going with the flow, which is cool for a quarterback. But I like Joe Burrow's fire. I like how he's cocky at the mic when he comes up for his guy Jamar Chase. Like, I was when we were at the campground like a couple summers ago. I was just Joe Tutty Burrow. Like, let's put on the LSU game when he's breaking all those records. I just loved what he was doing. He led such a cool team. And gosh, the coldest photo in sports with that cigar and kicking it back. I like how he got emotional talking about his coach Orgeron when he was. I just like everything that comes with Burrow. Maybe talent-wise, you can argue that Trevor Lawrence is better. It's just because he's on the Jags. I'm not even honestly. I haven't even gotten on the field production. I just like everything that comes with Joe Burrow. And my favorite number is 9. That's what Joe Burrow wears. So favorite color is orange. He plays for the Bengals. I mean, it's a lot of dumb stuff, but at the same time, I'm taking Burrow. I would ride into battle with Burrow.
Yeah, you didn't say a single thing I disagree with. I will say this, as far as the Herbert Joe Burrow argument, I think the jury's still out
Yeah,
because Herbert definitely has a better roster, but the Bengals are starting to get their offense together and things look good for Burrow. So I think we'll see. But as of right now, it's not a question. It's not a question for me. It's Burrow over Lawrence. It is a question whether it's Herbert over Burrow. I think
I
that's
just like Herbert's mobility in that situation there.
yeah, that's fun. That's fine. Yeah, I agree.
I got 2 questions kind of bundled up into one here, so I'll let you pick top or bottom here.
Oh, top.
Okay. Who is the best 0-3 team, the team you haven't completely given up on. You have the
Yeah.
Jets, Jags, Lions, Giants, and Colts.
For me, it's not close. I think it is the Colts. We've said this. We said this back on the AFC South breakdown. There's no reason to lose sight of it. We predicted, at least I definitely think I did. I think you were there too. We predicted them to start 0-5, and we hated it. We literally were talking about calling an audible and saying, let's repredict their schedule because there's no way they go 0-5. But they easily could go 0-5. This week they have another, I think it's Miami.
Dolphins.
Yes.
Yep, at Miami, and then they're at Baltimore.
At Miami, and they could go 0-4. This is a good football team. Do they have it all together? No. Do they have vaccination issues there? Yes. Do they have locker room issues? Yes. But are they talented? Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's the Colts.
Okay, and then my next question is, who is the worst 3-0 team? Which I don't think any of them are bad, but Rams, Cardinals, Raiders, Panthers, Broncos.
Spoiler: the only one that did not make my top 10 was Denver, and here's why. Do I think they're bad? No. Go along with what you just said. But to answer your question, I think they're the worst of the undefeateds, only because, fun fact, they have yet to beat a team that has a win.
Yep.
So as of right now, we don't know how good they are.
True.
Jury's out.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. If you're a Broncos fan listening to this, shout out.
Gotta be happy.
You gotta be happy you're 3-0. You always gotta be happy. And you took the worst team in the league, who I think is the worst team in the league, the Jets.
Jets are
and
the worst
shut them out. You shut them out. You didn't allow a single point. You know how hard that is to do in the NFL?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I always say about like teams that are beating bad teams, it's like only thing you can ask as a fan is for your team to make bad teams look like bad teams. And the Broncos have been able to do that all 3 weeks.
Control them, beat them, win the game.
Yeah, they're at home against the Ravens this week, so they got their first test. We'll see what they're made of. A lot of the 3-0 teams have a big test this week. We got the Panthers going to the Cowboys. We've got the Rams and the Cardinals playing each other.
That's
we've got we've got the Broncos and Ravens, and then Monday night Raiders Chargers. And in my opinion, the Chargers should be 3-0. So they've got some big matchups going on. The NFL's so good. So good. We were talking about this off air. There's literally 4 tire fires, 3 to 4 bad teams, and then like 24 good football teams.
Yeah. Week 4 live show is going to be a banger. Can't wait.
Ooh.
I don't even want to call this a question. This is a discussion again, much like we just had on the Patriots Bucs.
Yeah.
I'm going to start it off with a question, and I'm going to keep the conversation going with questions. Okay.
Okay.
First question. Are we overvaluing Kansas City?
We'll see when we get to our top 10s.
Okay. I'm going to keep this rolling, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you see a fall off with them?
Yes.
Are we expecting them to be the new Patriots where they're just literally always going to be good year in and year out, never miss the playoffs? They're just always going to have success because obviously that's what the Patriots were, and that's pretty unheard of. Tom Brady, Belichick, they went 20 years except for the 1 year where Brady was hurt. Rodgers misses the playoffs. I think Roethlisberger has missed the playoffs. Peyton Manning, I don't think ever.
Well, here's the thing.
But we're just assuming they're going to be great year in and year out.
I don't know about Super Bowl, but I do believe we expected them to make the playoffs a long time. Like a lot of teams have the Steelers, the Ravens. There's plenty of teams that have made the playoffs a long time. But the next Patriots dynasty, no, for 3 to 4 reasons. One, what the Patriots did was never done before them, and I doubt it will be done after them. 2, in division, you have really good teams, especially with Derek Carr and Justin Herbert in division. When the Patriots did that, all due respect to what they did have bad teams and dysfunction in the division. And 3, I think everyone abandoned that ship when Mahomes signed a $40+ million a year contract for 10 years. You simply can't have the roster and the depth to be able to do it over and over. We see it a lot of teams. It doesn't always work, but because the Chiefs have led in every game. But this is the formula: keep Mahomes in the pocket, safety over the top of Tyreek Hill, your best perimeter defender on Travis Kelce, and let the rest do whatever it's got to do. So
you got to score 30.
Yeah.
You got to score 30.
You obviously have to be a good team to beat them. But
Yes.
if you are a good team, they are no longer this like juggernaut that has this bulletproof vest. We've seen them be beat different ways, not a lot, but and I feel like they're one injury away on offense from being the. I have a stat here that was for my top 10. The Lions and the Falcons have allowed 94 points through 3 games. The Chiefs have allowed 95.
Dude, sometimes we're so in sync.
Chiefs allowed 95.
I also have a stat on there.
Think about how you think about the Lions and Falcons defenses.
Yeah, let me go a little deeper in the stat. So, Lions 95 points, Kansas City 95 points, Atlanta 94 points, Washington Football 94 points, Jags 91 points. 5 teams have allowed 90 plus points. 4 of them we consider trash. Do we not? Lions, Falcons, Washington, Jags. Bottom franchises.
Washington, but yeah, they're not good.
We're not high on them.
Right.
But because Kansas City's looped in there, we just assume they're freaking God status.
Because we've given them
these teams, these 5 teams, including Kansas City, they are 3-12.
Yeah.
Including Kansas City. Why are we're just pumping the brakes, or we're just hitting the gas pedal and they'll be just fine. Let's just keep rolling. I don't know.
Is there a reason they're signing Josh Gordon? They might be scared in the locker room too.
The thing is, we are prisoners, dude. Me and you were both on this live show Sunday. We both wanted to take the Chargers. We're like, the Chargers can win this game. The Chargers, and we talked ourselves out of it.
I actually won money on the Chargers +7. I did bet on them.
Yeah,
but
good.
I told Casey, I was like pounding the table. I was like, I wanted to take the Chargers so bad. Like, the Chiefs' defense is in trouble. Big time.
Let me say one more thing before we move on from Kansas City and go into some mailbag and then top 10 here.
Yeah.
So, here's what Kansas City is, okay? Listen up. Skilled quarterback, skilled tight end, speedy receiver. Who else is? Why don't we think they're going to beat everybody?
And the Raiders have a better
same thing.
They have a better
defense. The exact same thing as the Chiefs. Remember how we were saying the Vikings and the Titans are the same? Dude, the Raiders and the Chiefs are the same thing. I don't know.
The NFL is good.
It is good. And I'm not, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're listening to this, you're like, oh my God, they're just hating. No.
The Chiefs have scored 92 points, and they've had the lead in every game. But that whole kryptonite of Mahomes not turning it over and the team's just going to outscore you. It's like, if it wasn't for Baker getting tripped, throwing the ball out of bounds, and having that fluke of an interception, they're 0-3.
Yeah.
If Nick Chubb doesn't fumble and Baker doesn't get tripped when he can't see a guy, like some weird-ass stuff, and they only beat him by 4, I think.
Yeah.
They're 0-3. Like, again, it just.
I also want to say this week, and I'm not in love with the Eagles. I like what they did week 1. They've kind of fallen off. They're at Philadelphia this week. They should win. But I'm not going to be shocked if they lose.
Dude, the Eagles, Miles Sanders, 2 carries for 27 yards. They ran the ball 3 times against the Cowboys. Miles Sanders had like 5 touches for 52 yards. They just stopped going to him. Like, Nick Sirianni. I didn't think they could find somebody to give Miles Sanders the ball less than Doug Peterson, but they found it. Jeez, oh jeez. What's this about?
Say, do you have any more questions? Otherwise, we'll move into the mailbag.
No, we'll just go to the mailbag here.
Okay. Jeff Halbert writes in, what do you guys think of the Jags trade of C.J. Henderson to the Panthers for tight end Dan Arnold? He didn't ask about the tight end. I just added that part. So, Let me say this: C.J. Henderson, first round pick last year to the Jags, traded under Urban. What's your take on the trade?
Yeah, makes no sense. Unless this tight end that they got is a really good blocker and they want a sixth lineman because their line's so bad. It makes a ton of sense for the Panthers.
Oh, okay.
What are the Jaguars doing is my question.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
I should clarify that. Yeah, the Panthers, J.C. Horn may be down for the year. Go get yourself a playmaker. You guys are 3-0. Get going. Stay on
yeah.
top of the defense. I like that move. Jaguars. Let me see where it's at. Your defense has allowed 91 points through 3 games, and you're giving away your best corner. No, they got Griffin, but you give away a corner for. I have to believe this tight end can block that I've never heard of, and they just need more protection on the line for Lawrence. But Urban Meyer's just destroying the team before he goes to USC, I guess.
Yeah, I will say this: Panthers love the trade. J.C. Horn probably out for the year, or at least that's what the rumor is, which absolutely sucks because the Panthers have a loaded, great, energetic defense. But they don't skip a beat. They're like, let's get this shit fixed. They go out and get C.J. Anderson. Great move for them. For,
Absolutely.
for the Jags, they are depleted at tight end. They literally tried to sign Tim Tebow. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They went out and acquired a tight end, but I've never heard of him. And I mean, not to toot my horn, but I'm pretty good with players. I've never heard of this dude.
I mean, somebody made a joke one time. I was at a Super Bowl party. I said the name of someone. They're like, "How do you know that?" Someone was like, "Brad knows the second string corner on every team." It was like, I find myself to be pretty fancy with the names and conjuring up players. What? Who is this guy?
Don't know. Time will tell. Obviously, they did get a little bit of draft capital, not a lot, but yeah. Moving on here. So Kyle Miller writes in, what did you think of the Seahawks' comments towards Ken Norton? Ken Norton is the defensive coordinator, I believe, for the Seahawks.
Right?
Maybe he's a secondary coach. They made some negative comments. Ultimately, I'll start off here. Seahawks aren't very good defensively, so why wouldn't they make comments? I don't think that's wrong for them to say, "Hey, our scheme sucks."
Yeah, you can criticize your coaches and stuff. It's just more turmoil after what happened with Russell Wilson this offseason. And unfortunately, the Seahawks came out and it was like, wow, they really put all that behind them. Their last 6 quarters of football have been atrocious. They allowed a monster comeback by the Titans in the second half. They lose that game. And then honestly, they don't play well. They had a few good series, but over the course of the game, they were vastly outplayed by the Vikings. And you have to worry because in that division, you can't drop games. I mean, in that division. So,
I
I mean,
will, yeah. Oh, I agree with you, but I will slightly defend the Seahawks only because I like the Seahawks and because what I'm going to say is legit. If you were to give me 5 teams today that have the best receiving combos in the league, one of them would be the Vikings, the other one would be the Titans, and then there'd be some other ones. So let's pump the brakes on the Seahawks. Corners suck when you're going up against Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and then the following week you go up against Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Like, those are some good spots.
I do think the argument with that would be is one, it wasn't Julio Jones and AJ Brown that beat the Seahawks. It was their run defense.
Fair.
And secondly, against the Vikings, it was like their starting running back was out. So why not focus more on taking away their 2 stud receivers?
Because you
Now,
can't. Nobody's
Anthony,
done that this year.
and I get that, but I'm just saying that when Dalvin Cook's out, you can commit maybe one or two guys more to helping stop those guys. It just, I don't know. Seahawks, like I said, their last 6 quarters not been good.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, and I don't think they're who do they got this week? I know it's a little tough here. They have a good game
I
too.
got it up here.
Seahawks.
49ers.
The 49ers, and they're on the road, 4:00 game. It's a dogfight. Niners are coming off a loss too.
It's a big game because the 49ers can really turn the screw on the Seahawks here.
Yeah.
Because if they beat the Seahawks, you're going to have a 4-win team because the Rams and Cardinals play each other in 2, 3, and 1 teams, and the Seahawks will be looking up at the standings like, man.
Yeah.
Tough.
I'm ready for top 10 teams if you are.
Yeah, sure. You want to start it? Let me start.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start her off.
Hey,
So I gave you guys the spoiler earlier when we were talking that Denver's on the outside looking in. Another one that I'm just not ready to commit to is the Packers. So Packer fans, one more week. Give me another week. Who you guys got this week? You're hosting the Steelers. Do I think you can beat them? Yes. If you don't, though, we'll talk. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get to the top 10. Number 10, Dallas. I predicted this as a playoff team. I haven't really wavered. I think they're the best team in that division. As of right now, they're playing like it. The thing that I love the most, and I'm so comfortable putting this team in the top 10, they are back to running the ball. Not necessarily with Zeke. Zeke is getting carries, but with they're mixing in Pollard, they're two running backs, and then they're throwing to the receivers. I like this team. I think Dak is comfortable, and the defense looks much improved. Is it great? Probably not, but it's improved over last year, which is enough to get them in the top 10. 9, Ravens. Loved the Ravens to win the North. Um, After the injuries at running back, I backed off that prediction. Do I think they're going to win the North? Probably not. The Browns look really good, but this is a damn good football team. They're so unique. They beat everybody. And just when you think they're going to lose to a bad team, they kick an NFL record 66-yard field goal. Justin Tucker, GOAT. Number 8, I freaking love this team, dude. The Panthers. It sucks they lose J.C. Horn, but they immediately fix it with C.J. Henderson. They didn't wait a week. They're like, no, we have Tom Brady in our division. We have to go get a corner. They go out and get one. Gosh, the freaking Panthers. I'm super excited for Panther fans. I'm super excited for Jets fans who are living their season through Sam Darnold because you guys suck. And I'm excited for just Sam Darnold in general. I think this is a big opportunity, and they're super fun to watch. 7, I didn't move them up this week. They deserve to move up, but I didn't. I'm sorry, guys. Raiders at 7. I think right now what they're doing is incredible. They became the first team in NFL history to beat 3 teams that won 10-plus games the year before to start the season. It's never been done before. Probably, I mean, it's going to be a rare feat because that means you're beating good teams to start your year. Going on the road to LA to play Justin Herbert's going to be a tall task. I don't know if they're favored, but they easily could be. This is a good football team, and Raiders got a lot to be excited about. I didn't think they'd be much more than a 5 or 6 win team, and they got half that already. 6, this is why the Raiders should be higher. 6 is Kansas City. The fact that I have a 1 and 2 team in my top 10 is it goes a lot against what I'm usually for, but I'm going strictly on what I believe this team is in 5 weeks. Sorry if that upsets people listening. Kansas City is the 6th best team. 5, I've completely flipped the script on this team. I had them as a bottom feeder, maybe 7 wins. Arizona is freaking really good. They have everything that you want in a team. They do everything well. Yeah, the Jags gave them some trouble, but a lot of teams struggled to play in Florida this time of year. And I thought it was interesting that they fell behind and were still able to come away with a 10-point lead or a 10-point win. I like Arizona. 4, Browns. They should be 3-0. You should be, but continue to win the games that you can. What they did to the Bears in a rookie at home, I thought was extremely impressive. The fact, I shout out the Broncos for shutting out the Jets. If you hold an NFL squad to under 50 yards, wow. 3, Bills. Josh Allen in company. What they're doing is huge. They lost to a healthy Steelers team week 1. I'm not going to hold that against them. They look really good. They're moving the ball. They can score on anyone. I said last week that I thought the Rams would beat Tampa and that I wouldn't move Tampa in a loss. I lied because the Rams are really good. Tampa's at 2. They're 2-1. I didn't think they just looked ill-prepared. I thought they just weren't as good as the team across from them. At the end of the day, I thought that the Buccaneers are a very good team and a top 3 team every single day of the week, but the Rams looked better. And Matthew Stafford looks incredible. The one thing I heard this week about the Rams, and I completely agree, for the first time in Sean McVay's life, he doesn't have to pass through play action. He can just say, hey, we're going to pass it. And they pass it. And they pass it well. Deshaun Jackson is a great fit for that team as a 3rd, 4th option, depending on who you ask. Rams at 1.
Okay, I'm going to start. It's a good list. Obviously, our lists are Sometimes they're the same and sometimes they're different. This will be the latter. This will be one where it's a little bit different. Um, I some you just got to catch me on the right day. But today I was making my list and I said I want to go by if someone hadn't watched the NFL yet, where would I want to tell them who I think going into this week are the best teams? So here are my four massive arguments for the teams that I do not have my list. Broncos did not make my list. The three teams they've beaten are a combined 0-9. The Panthers did not make my list. They've beat the Jets, the Texans, and the Saints when they had 7 coaches missing. The team looked like they just didn't know what was going on. The Ravens, they almost lost to the Lions, and they did lose on Monday night, although it was to a good team. I have the Ravens barely off my list. Again, that's just a case of the NFL is so good, guys. All these teams are so good, but when there's so few different varieties and records, and the Chiefs are not on my list. Their defense is abysmal, and I'm not going to just go based off what they've done the last 3 years. They could turn it around. When they do, they'll be back on my list. But until then, they're going to be off of it. Number 10, I've got the 49ers. I think they're a well-coached team, but the more I watch Kyle Shanahan, the more I don't like him. He just looks like an asshole. Sorry about my language there. I just can't stand Kyle Shanahan, really. The team was in a dogfight that they should have lost to the Eagles. They allow a massive comeback by the Packers. The time management was poor. Aaron Rodgers beat them, but they're going to be at 10. Packers are right there at 9. I think they're awfully dependent on their 3 stars on offense. They're not getting too much of a pass rush. They'll enjoy Zadarius Smith getting back. I stand by my opinion that Jair Alexander is a top 5 corner in the league. I think he's been showing up, showing out. This team's well coached. I think Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are really getting along. Of course, that's better when they win, but I like them at 9. Number 8, Dallas Cowboys. I was wrong on them. And the reason why, I was going to wait to ask this question until next week, but Trayvon Diggs has been the most breakout player in the league. He's honestly just following number 1 receivers and kind of just laughing it off. It started with Mike Evans. He played well against Keenan Allen and Mike Williams last week in a close win over the Chargers. And then he followed Devontae Smith around and kind of made him look like a rookie, even though he's only 2 years in. Number 7, this is where it's kind of going to get debatable because they just beat them, but I have the Chargers at number 7. I think they're an incredible team, and if it wasn't for a nightmare of penalties, they beat the Cowboys. This team would be 3-0. I think they've got pieces on defense. Asante Samuel Jr. might be Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, and this is with Chris Harris Jr. still working his way back from injury. The middle linebacker Kenneth Murray in his second year is balling. Derwin James is healthy. We're being reminded what he can do. So I really like this team from front to back. Number 6, Raiders. They're 3-0. Maybe you could make a case for them to be a little higher, a little lower, but they beat down the Steelers, who I don't believe are a good football team. And both of their home games, they trailed by 14. Speaks volumes that they can come back, but I don't think that's a healthy way to go about winning football games. And then I'll keep it short and sweet because our 5 through 1 are identical. The Cardinals, 3-0. Heard on the herd that they're the only team to have 300 pass yards and 100 rush yards in every single game this year. They've got a monster pass rush. Murphy, Isaiah Simmons, Budda Baker, they have guys making plays on the perimeter. Browns, exactly like you said, should be 3-0. Couple mishaps in the game against the Chiefs opening week. They cleaned it up. They really dominate on the ground, time of possession. Yet last weekend was the Kareem Hunt show. They can really mix it up when they want to. OBJ's back. Again, he didn't have the moment like I predicted, but what a game. I mean, he was a number 1 receiver out there, and perhaps his best catch was out of bounds down the field, unfortunately, but he played well. Number 3 is a team I really wanted to put it to, the Buffalo Bills. They played terribly week 1 against the Steelers and lost by 7 on a punt block return for a touchdown. That's very unfortunate. Their last 8 quarters, they've outscored their team 78-21. And when they allowed the 21 to Washington, that game was pretty much in the bag when they were scoring points anyway. But I'll keep Tampa at 2 for now because, 1, their biggest weakness they've addressed today in signing Richard Sherman. So their corners were weak, probably not anymore. And their roster's ridiculous, top to bottom. They've got Tom Brady. They're playing really well. Maybe you could make the case they're looking forward to Tom Brady's and Gronk's. Don't forget about him, too. Their return to New England. Number one, the Los Angeles Rams. Let's not act like they don't possibly have a top 5 wide receiver in the league in Cooper Kupp. That dude just cooks people all day. He's had some knee issues, so he hasn't been able to put the whole seasons together. But he's got Matt Stafford, who don't miss him, and he's making corners look ridiculous. The whole team, I think the LA Rams kind of remind me of the Golden State Warriors. They've got just 3 guys in Matt Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, and Aaron Donald who are just at the peak of their game. You can add some other players, but I want to go before Kevin Durant. And what I mean by that is before Kevin Durant, when you watch the Golden State Warriors with the Splash Bros, you just smiled while you were watching them. They were just so fun to watch. And watching this romantic love story between Sean McVay and Matt Stafford is literally just like it. How are the Rams not must-watch TV? But I do want to pump the brakes on this. People are saying Matt Stafford could potentially get the ring he deserves. There's not a single player that deserves a Super Bowl ring in the NFL. I don't care if you're on a bad team or a good team. You could say he's going to get the chance at a ring he's deserved. Sure. But no one deserves a Super Bowl in the NFL, not even Matt Stafford because he was playing in Detroit. He threw picks there too, okay? He's not untouchable. However, I do believe he's got a good team for the first time in his career, defense and a coach he can truly rely on. They are fun to watch. My biggest swing and a miss in my preseason projections by far, and they are undoubtedly the best team in the NFL. They just beat Tampa Bay by 2 scores. So I don't know how anybody else could not have the Rams at 1.
Yeah, real quick. I was just thinking of this as we were talking, going over our top 10s. For mine specifically, there's a couple teams here that have something in common. Rams. They love their team. Realize they have a weakness. It's a quarterback. They go out and get one. Okay? Tampa. They realize they have a good team, but have a weakness. They go out and get one. Not every day Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady are on the open market, so I'm not insinuating you can just go get a guy. But next year, Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, just throwing that out there, guys. Arizona. They had drafted Josh Rosen. Realized it was going to work. They had the number 1 pick. They're like, you know what? We got to get our guy. They go out and get one. The Panthers realized they have a good team. They tried to acquire every stinking quarterback that was physically possible to acquire this offseason because they realized that they're that close. If your team is a quarterback away, find a way to get one. I'm not saying you can get it because obviously we're not GMs, but it's like, man, it's got to be so frustrating because there are guys out there.
And sometimes
your team is looking right at you. If the Steelers don't go out and get their guy this offseason, it's like, what are you doing?
2 things to add. Sometimes it's not always the quarterback. The Bills needed that one guy in the perimeter to take them over the top. They give up massive picks for Stephon Diggs. Cardinals, when they had Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins. You know, they're using the resources available. But still, I'm just saying they're using resources available to go get what you want, to your point. And what I'm saying about the Steelers, the whole go down with the ship thing, in terms of getting their guy, I think we've been robbed by our GM, who's done a great job for 20 years, who doesn't care anymore. And I say that because he's announced many a times in the past couple of years, he's leaving when Ben Roethlisberger does. Hey, we should probably draft Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round when we have the chance and move on from Big Ben. Now we'll just restructure him for a 1-year, $14 million contract because I want to have Ben till I go out, and he's appeasing him. What really should have happened is Ben should have been given the choice, go somewhere else or retire a Steeler, and we should have drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. I'm not saying Jalen's killing it over at the Eagles, but he's throwing for over 300 yards, and he's mobile. Our offensive line is getting older and weaker. He's a mobile quarterback. We have young receivers. It was absolutely the pick that should have happened, but our GM has an allegiance to Ben with their careers ending the same time and them being together for 17 years. So I really think we were done in by a GM that way. But then again, you know, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Desmond Ritter out of Cincinnati. He's going to be a Steeler next year. What do you mean no?
Deshaun Watson.
Well, I mean, I would take Deshaun Watson. Obviously, our quarterbacks in the past have done questionable things and whatnot, but
I'm
Desmond
not
Ritter's number 9.
I'm not
Desmond
trying to
Ritter's
change
number
up
9, dude.
it matter, but
Oh, it's all
yeah.
cool. I said I gave my case, a few pods ago on why Deshaun Watson would fit. But
Yeah.
man, there's some serious stuff going on with him. I don't even know if he'll play in the NFL again.
Yeah, I guess time will tell with that. It
Yeah.
seems to be, I want to use the right words here. It seems to be clearing up. We'll see. I don't know. Time will tell. Wow. Sorry a day late, dollar short, guys, but we are here. Drop to the power rankings, drop to the discussions of the week. Hope you guys can join us on the live show on Spotify Green Room. I thought we had a really successful live show this past Sunday. The people that did tune in, we had nothing but positive vibes and feedback back. So I would hope that if you haven't made the move, get Spotify Green Room. It's completely free. You just have to sign up quick and follow Brad, follow myself. And if you're interested, we'd be more than happy to have you jump on live and talk about your favorite team, your favorite game,
And
or yeah.
one of the biggest things too, guys, is unlike Facebook Live, you can completely close down your phone or open new apps or look at other things. Like your phone's not completely shut down. You can even put us on in the background, help pump our numbers up just to support the cause.
Or
But it's just
drive and listen to us.
yeah, it's just a much easier, much smoother, better quality. Everything about it's better. So that's where we're going forward. And we hope that if you've never been on a live show, you come join one because it's fun to hear the discussions and whatnot. I enjoy it. Everyone else who's been in there enjoys it. So come on in.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys, I can't wait for week 4. I cannot wait for Sunday night. As you guys know, it's huge. So thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Go Patriots. Tom Brady's a weirdo.
Glory, glory, Manchester United, baby. Coming for that ship.
We out. Real talk.